I'm in the car about to pick up my youngest from preschool, but I had to take a minute because before I left, I just watched season 17, episode 6, I think, of Sister Wives. I think it's called Telling Truly. My takeaway from this episode is, okay, we get it. Polygamy doesn't work, especially when it involves Kody Brown. That was my takeaway. But there's a lot that we need to discuss to get us to this point. So, let's talk about it. At the beginning of this episode, Kody and Christine are talking about, the fact that they need to tell Truly, because basically everybody else in the whole family knows that her mom and her dad are divorced, but somehow we're supposed to believe that Truly doesn't know. As someone pointed out in the comment section of another discussion we were having, are we really to believe that Saul and Ariella, or however you say it, Ariella, have not told Truly yet? They were just together at the birthday party. Do you think that they didn't mention, oh, we heard you're moving to Utah? Something about the timeline is fishy, but let's just go with it, okay? Let's just go with it. They need to tell Truly. I am really tired of Kody having this type of response. When Christine says to Kody, we need to tell Truly, everyone else knows, he says, I don't want to tell her yet. This is like the third that I've noticed. I'm sure there are many more instances where there is some huge important decision or just big life-changing moment happening around Kody and in his family, with the people that he loves, or at the very least has promised to care for, and his response is, I don't want to be a part of the conversation. This is the same man who said he's taking control of his family. This is patriarchy. Every decision has to go through him. Then how come he is consistently saying and believing, I guess, that he has the right to not be in the conversation? Another segment or issue that really stood out to me this episode was Kody's just like a lazy father. I think that's what it is. I just feel like he's lazy. I feel like he's a lazy father. I don't think he's a lazy person. I think he works hard. Sounds like he's an entrepreneur. He's involved in policy stuff, advocating for polygamy and whatnot. But he is active and does things, but he's a lazy father. In his fathering, he is lazy. In this episode, Isabel is asked to talk a little bit about her relationship with her father and how she feels about moving away from her family in Flagstaff. And basically, she kind of pauses for a moment and says, it's funny, why would someone park right next to me, by the way? Not about the show, but I'm in a very big parking lot. But anyway, Isabel kind of pauses and says, my relationship with my father isn't very close, and that she's going to miss her mom more than her father, which I think is a very kind and honest way of answering the question. She could have went much further with that kind of answer. And then at some point it switches to Kody, and he talks about, basically he puts the blame on Isabel and says that every time they're together, he has to work really hard to get her to open up. As if that's not his job. As if our kids are here to serve us and our ego. That is the point. That is the point. If you are a parent who doesn't benefit from just always being in the house. Sorry, my video cut off. But if you are a parent who doesn't have that working for you, where you just are home and your kids have no choice but to get to know you, then you have to do the work of knowing your kids. That's your job. That is actually your job. And I think that's so lazy and just awful that Kody does not accept that responsibility. Okay, the last thing I noticed, and then I have 5 minutes to get into the preschool. In this episode, I think it was one of the last segments, they all go to look at Janelle's new RV. And I was just struck by how negative Mary and Robin and Robin's kids were about the RV. At least that's the part that they showed. They were all negative. The only positive and uplifting kind of person there was obviously Christine. And it just made me wonder, what is it like to be a part of the Brown family without Christine there? It seems, based on this segment where they went to look at the RV, I can just imagine it's a very depressing and sad and negative experience. That's just what I think. Anyway, those are the things that stood out to me. As always, I want to know what stood out to you. I don't have many people around me who really want to discuss sister wives to the extreme depths that I want to discuss it with you. So let me know what stood out to you. Also, of course, in the meantime, we did see a little bit of next episode pointing out that the whole thing, this whole COVID thing, was a scam. It was a scam. Because now Cody, who in this episode we learned says he cannot take his daughter to college because of COVID. Now in the next episode, he's driving to Texas to officiate a wedding. Okay. So there's no fear of COVID there. Okay. So this is all a scam. Okay. Anyway, so that's where we're left. Let me know what you thought. And then at the very least, I'm going to see you next episode when the family just continues to prove our point that polygamy does not work, especially when Kody Brown's involved in this.